Welcome to another exciting podcast of Royal Oak Victory Church. We're glad you've joined us. We are a community devoted to God, connected to others, and influencing our world.
Flash, 100-yard dash. Buddy, it's nice to see you.
Nice to see you, too.
Officer Judy Hobbs, CPD, how are you?
I am doing
Fine?
well. What
Hang in there.
can I do
Well, I was hoping you could run a
for
play.
you
Well, I was hoping you
today?
Well, I was hoping you could run a plate for us. We are in a really big hurry.
What's the plate
29 T
number?
29 THD03.
2 9 T
HD03.
H
D03.
D
03.
0.
3.
Hey, Flash, want to hear a joke?
No!
Sure.
Okay. What do you call a three-humped camel?
I don't know.
Pregnant.
Yes, very funny, very funny. Can we please just focus on the task?
Hey.
Oh, wait.
Priscilla,
Oh, no!
Yes? Flash?
what do
No!
you call
A three-humped camel, pregnant! Okay, great,
Three.
we got it! Please jump.
pumped?
All right. I'm hoping that nobody has ever experienced that. Personally, that would be quite the experience. But I think really the interesting thing there is that aspect, or what we see in that video, really hits at the core of customer service. In regards to us interacting with people. I mean, you can go into a store, you can love that store, you can love the product, maybe you even enjoy the shopping experience. But if you leave that store with an interaction like that, nothing else matters. All you can remember is the interaction you had with the staff or the volunteer. And that largely will determine whether or not you even go back to that store or not. Or if you're like me, you probably end up just buying it on Amazon or going through the self-serve counter at the customer service at the store. But the thing that I found very interesting when I started thinking about this is how much being a Christian is not a whole lot different than this type of interaction. Because how we interact, how we engage with people largely determines how other people are going to react to Jesus. So if we're cold or we're rude or impatient, and we express ourselves as being Christian, people who don't have an understanding that we're all imperfect people and that we are growing and that we need grace, will view Jesus through our actions and our attitude. They could get the perception of Jesus not being worth following, simply because of their interaction with us. But if we're warm and we're kind and we're loving and we're hospitable, just as we're supposed to be and as we've heard about this morning, that's how people are going to associate themselves or their view of Jesus. And that's what I love about this goal that we're embarking on this morning and really will launch tomorrow, is that we can show Jesus so clearly to the people around us through these acts of care and through this campaign. I mean, Jesus himself said as much during his ministry, constantly talking about how we are to love our neighbor and how we're supposed to respond in examples like the Samaritan. And earlier this week, I was listening to a podcast, and they were talking about this very thing, and they were looking at the verse John 7:17, and this is what it says. It says, anyone who chooses to do the will of God will find out whether my teaching comes from God or whether I speak on my own. And what they were exploring in their discussion is the reality that the proof of Jesus is in our actions. not only for the people around us, but for us ourselves. If we really want to get to know God, if we really want to know the proof of Jesus, who he really says he is, we have to do something. We have to follow his will. We have to be obedient. And that is what is so important about this aspect, and why through this 40 days of care, we want to go beyond just a sermon series. We're going to get taught the why and the value in this, but we have to go beyond that. We have to put it into action. We have to be practical about it. And so really what we're looking at here is not just a sermon series, but a campaign, as Pastor Dave mentioned. James wrote in his book, chapter 2, verse 27, he says, "Just as the body is dead without work, so also faith is dead without good works." So we can hear these great sermons, but we've got to put it into practical action. So what I want to talk about this morning is how we're going to do this. What does this look like beyond Sunday morning? So we've been calling this a campaign that we're going to be embarking on for 40 days. So what is a campaign? Well, if we look at the definition of a campaign, it says that it's a systematic course of aggressive activity for a purpose. And I love that they use the word aggressive activity. In other words, it's planned activities that we carry out on purpose. And our intention as a church for the next 40 days is to do exactly that, to put our faith in action, to show our common purpose that we care for one another, that this is important for us, that when we say we love our neighbor, we really mean it. It's not just going to be in word, but it's going to be in deed and action as well. And it's going to go beyond just the people in this room. It's going to go beyond a Sunday morning service. We want to extend this 40 days of care outside the walls of this building. We want to be able to do things in our community. We want to be doing things in our city throughout this entire 40 days. And so for the rest of our time, or my time this morning, I want to outline all the different things that we've put into place for this 40-day campaign. So this is everything that we're going to be doing as a church, how we can have you engage and be involved, putting proof to your relationship with Jesus, so to speak. And it goes beyond, like I said, just Sunday morning. So this is the how of our campaign. So the first thing that we're going to be doing is a very aggressive social media campaign. We're going to have a post every day of the entire campaign on our social media, whether that's Facebook or Instagram. On Sundays, we're going to be posting the takeaway. Through the week, we're going to be talking about the different things that people have done, inspirational quotes, versus really we want full engagement. And so if you're on those social media platforms, we want you to share, we want you to like, we want you to tweet, we want you to hashtag, we want you to do everything you can with these engagement posts. Get the word out there that this is a value to us, that we find this to be a result and a fulfillment and really the outcome of the relationship that we have with Jesus Christ. So we really just want to get the word out there in every way. And so we encourage you, engage with us on social media, share it with your friends. We want to make sure that everybody is on that page. Now, beyond that, every one of our teaching areas is going to also be involved in this 40 days of care. So, for example, our youth ministry, so that is our 180 youth on Wednesday evenings, as well as our plunge group on Sunday morning. They're going to be going through the same curriculum that we are going through as part of our sermon series. As well, we are also going to be doing the same thing with our young adults group. Everybody's going to be going through the same one another's that Pastor Dave talked about, exploring them in a deeper way and looking at them beyond that. And what I'm really excited about is that we have a way for those of us with kids and families to also engage in this process because our MPK Children's Ministry is also going to be doing the same campaign over the next 40 days. Now, the details of that are quite amazing, and I am going to give it up to the person that has done all of the organizing and work. So I want to welcome Andrea as she comes, who's going to tell us all about that.
Hi. You guys are awesome. You guys get it, right? Ministry and serving is a team thing, and it continues, and it thrives when we're all working towards the same goal. In MPK, we call it being in the know. So you guys are like some of the first ones to be in the know, and that's really cool. So really excited to share with you guys how MPK is going to get involved. So you might be asking yourself, yeah, what is MPK doing? And I'm here to answer that question. So the first thing that we have done is created our own curriculum. So we've got MPK 40 Days of Care curriculum. We brought together a supercharged, super talented, super passionate team of volunteers right from the church here, and they created curriculum for all 7 Sundays and for all our 5 classes. So that's 35 lessons. And I'd like our care curriculum team to stand up if you're here. Amaka, Bukola, Bola, Tope, stand up. I can see you. Dory, Temi, Yamisi, Sandra, Laura, Joelle. Not everybody's here, but you guys, you're amazing, amazing, amazing. Absolutely. Excellent, thank you guys. So what this means is that all of us, the entire church family, we're all going to be learning the same biblical principle of care on a given Sunday, and then we're going to be inspired and encouraged to work that out in practical ways during the week. So what that will look like, the kids will bring home table talk ideas. And so these are meant to spark conversation as you have lunch together, maybe around the dining room table during the week while you're driving to and fro from activities. You guys can all talk as a family about the principle that we've talked about. So whether it's serving one another or loving one another or forgiving one another, we can all be talking about this and learning about this together. So we'll also be encouraging our kids to complete care challenges. So we want you to look out for those. They'll bring those home. We're going to give them opportunities to check in with us as to what they've done during the week. So our second project, we're really excited about this. It's called Give Us a Hand, Wall of Care. So what we want to create is this giant wall of care in our check-in area. And so it's going to be like 6 foot by 4 foot. The kids are going to get a hand, like literally a paper hand to take home and decorate. And then we'll put those up. And then we're going to ask families, any of you who have kids in your sphere of influence and you get out and you do a care activity, to send us a photo, email us a photo. We're going to print those off and we're going to build our wall of care. And so you could take pictures of your kids when they're helping out around the house. Take pictures of your kids when they're playing nicely together. Capture that for proof that it does happen. And you know, that is care. That is care in action for kids, right? We want to look at opportunities where we can reinforce care behaviors. We want to create little care agents with our kids. A third way that we're involved is that we're going to give the kids a weekly testimony time. And so each Sunday we'll invite the kids, if they want to, either in the class or during our MPK worship, to share a testimony of care from the previous week. So that might be something that they completed, like one of the care challenges. It might be one of the care crews, which we'll be talking about coming up here, something that they did with their family. It might be something that God directed them to do. You know, we want our kids to hear from God and be moved and know that that is God prompting them, right? There's care opportunities, and one big way that we talk with our kids, because we've all got it, is the smile, right? We can give a smile. We can start to understand maybe what our neutral face looks like, and we can be caring by being aware of that and making sure that we're, you know, looking friendly to our friends at school as we come into MPK. And in case you don't know, I was going to say that at the beginning, MPK stands for Mission Possible Kids. And so this campaign is Mission Possible for our kids. And we're super excited to just, you know, see them embrace this, see them get excited about the opportunities that they get. There's no kid too young that can't be part of this campaign. For the nursery, it's about just creating an atmosphere where the kids are experiencing care, and then knowing that, growing up knowing that this is who Jesus is, that Jesus loves them so much. Where in the nursery, we're creating that that first taste of what it means to be a Christian, and so even in our nursery, we have this curriculum, and we'll be highlighting aspects just through the conversation we have with the kids, and I think that's so cool. How did an act of care make them feel? If they recognize, somebody cared for me, it felt good, then they can turn around and push in. We can encourage them to push in. Well, how did it feel when so-and-so said hi to you, or gave you that big smile? Well, why don't you try that? Because you're going to make them feel that same way. It's simple stuff. And also, what acts of care did they see during the week? So just becoming aware of the fact that there's care going on all around them. What does caring look like in all its forms? Being forgiving, accepting others, and the other topics we'll be talking about on Sunday. This is a huge opportunity to model and teach our kids, what it means to care for each other in a Christ-like manner. And it's a real privilege for us in MPK to watch your children growing up into their relationship with Christ. And so we want every parent to get on board with this. We're here to support you if you've got questions or comments, or you want ideas or anything. Joelle and I love to get emails on Monday mornings after a Sunday, and please, avail yourself of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. That's the one thing I find amazing, is that this is not just something for us in this room on Sunday morning, that this is going to be church-wide. I was even reminded as Andrea was talking about a breakfast earlier this week, and we were just kind of debriefing a little bit about what the kids learned in class on Sunday. And I get to my little 2-year-old, and a lot of the time she can't really articulate what she has learned, but she just kind of piped up and she goes, "Jesus is nice." Right? And that's what we mean by that first taste, right? Even at such a young age, that they can begin to understand this. And so I'm really excited about what MPK has in store, and the fact that this is going to be church-wide. And so we've talked a lot about how we're going to be doing this from a social media campaign. And I'd encourage you, if you're only on one of those platforms, engage with us in all those platforms. So if you're on Facebook, why not join us on Instagram or Twitter? We'd love to engage with you during this process. But I love the fact that we're also going to be doing this throughout all of our different teaching areas. And as Pastor Dave mentioned, we also have what we call our care crew. So at this time, I want to encourage you to pull your flyer out, the one that Pastor David mentioned, the one that says has 40 days of care. On the front of this, I want to go through this in a little bit more detail. Now, the reason I want to do that is because when this gets revealed, one of the first things that will happen is people will begin to ask questions. And we talk as volunteers, especially amongst the First Impressions group, that if we're wearing a volunteer name tag on a Sunday morning, we become information people. We need to know what's going on, what's happening, where to direct people to the appropriate place, especially for guests who come in on a Sunday morning. They're going to go to you and they're going to be asking questions. And so we want to make sure that we get everybody on the same page in regards to this, so that when somebody says, well, what's this 40 days of care all about? We now have 125, 130 people that all know what this is about even before we start talking about it on a Sunday morning. So our care crews, as we call them, is designed in such a way that really what we want is everybody in the church to engage at least once during the next 40 days in a care crew. Now, you can do that individually, but we also want to encourage you, maybe it's your connect group, maybe it's your ministry team. You've got 6 ushers, you guys can go do something together. Maybe it's a worship team, you guys go do something together. Maybe as a family, you can go and engage in one of these teams once during the next 40 days. And that's why we've provided such a wide array of different groups that you can be involved in. One of the things we're going to be doing as a staff is we're going to be going as a staff, and we're going to go serve at the Mustard Seed for a day as a staff, as a group. And so we want to encourage everybody to do the same thing. I'm going to spend a little bit of time walking through this brochure, and then I'm going to talk to you more about how this is going to happen. So what we've done is we've designed this in a way that anybody, as I said, can be engaged in this process. So the first area there you'll see is our church family. Right at the top, ministry team. Choose an area of ministry within our church and serve during the next 40 days. Now, let me just say right off the bat, you guys in this room can't pick that one, because you're already engaged in an area of ministry. You're already going to be serving once in the next 40 days. This category is for people that we know aren't serving. We want to get them engaged in First Impressions or MPK or youth or young adults or a different area of the church. And so if you know somebody in your sphere of influence that isn't serving on a ministry team, we can show care through our ministry teams. And so we want to encourage people to sign up, get involved, do first serves, and that we think that will be a great way to connect people into a team that can then show care to one another. We're also this year going to be doing our Christmas letter campaign again. We've been doing this for a number of years, but we're going to broaden its scope, invite more people into this process. And this is great for the whole family. Basically what we do is we're going to be getting together on a Saturday, and we write letters of encouragement and faith and belief that then get put into Christmas cards for the men that live down at the Victory Manor Village, or the Victory Manor in Ogden. And this is really a neat, we have a Christmas dinner that we have for them in December, and so we're going to begin preparing for that. And then this next one is, I just love this next one. It's called a care package. And so what we're going to be doing is encouraging everybody to create these care packages for those that are less fortunate. We have instructions that we're going to provide on what things to purchase. And then those care packages are going to be created over the course of September. And then in October, we're going to distribute those packages out to those that are less fortunate. Things like basic toiletries and socks and gloves, especially as we go into the winter season. And I can already see myself, I've got 4 kids, they're all quite young. This is something they could very easily engage in. Where we go to Walmart or whatever, we buy all this stuff and we put these packages together. If you've done the Samaritan's Purse Christmas box campaign, it's very similar to that, and we provide all of the instructions for you when you pick up one of those packages. And then again, we'll be distributing those out in the month of October. As well, we've been in connection with the Community Association, the Rocky Ridge Royal Oak Community Association, and so we have ways that we can serve right here in our community. Every year they do a community cleanup. What that is they gather up at the London Drugs up in Royal Oak. The city of Calgary shows up with their recycling trucks and garbage trucks, as well as there's a number of not-for-profits that show up to take donations. And so people bring all the stuff, kind of a fall cleanup. They take it up there, but they need help sorting these items. So we'll be assisting the Community Association in sorting those items, helping the people in the community as they bring their materials. And so we're excited to be able to help out with that one. There's 2 shifts available as well. The Community Association has been in a bit of flux this year. A lot of changeover in members, new ones coming in, old ones going out. And so there's been certain things that have fallen through for them as a community association and with their volunteers. And one of those things is park maintenance. There's a park they have where they, up by the school, they have an ice rink there. And so they've asked if we could help and come maintain the park. So we're talking weeding and pruning and things like that. They'll be providing instructions for us. So it's an easy way to get out and just support and show your love for your community. As well, up on the top of your next page, we have a number of seniors' homes that we do services in. Then the Holy Cross one is a great way to jump in and serve our seniors. If you want to sing, if you want to just chat, if you want to pray with these seniors, it's so amazing to see them light up, right? Because they have somebody who just wants to talk with them, wants to engage with them. And so we'll be doing that one as well. And we have broadened this, like I said, beyond just Rocky Ridge and Royal Oak. We're looking around our city. And so one of the ways we've done that is through the Victory Outreach Center and the various projects that they have. And so we have on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, they have people that go to our Victory Outreach Center in Forest Lawn, and maybe they need a hamper, maybe they need a meal, maybe they need counseling, maybe they want to access the Her Victory program. And so they're looking for intake workers. Really, you're greeting and you're helping put them into the right place. It's a really great way to be involved. That one is during the day. So you can be involved as an intake worker. You can also be involved as a hamper builder, where you work in their food bank and you put the food bank hampers together for these families that are in need. We also have our Bonus Victory Outreach, and that is where we go down to Boness and we serve at their church service that they do on a Sunday evening. So there's a meal that you can be involved in, as well as if you are geared towards helping in children's ministry, you can jump in on that Sunday evening and help out with that team. And we are also on the weekend of October 20th, we're going to be taking the whole service. And so we're going to not only help with the meal and the children's ministry, but we're also going to be looking at helping with the service itself. And so maybe you are musically inclined, you want to be involved in a worship team or something like that. We would love to have you as part of that team on that evening. We also have our Eastside Victory Outreach. That one is in Forest Lawn. They do meal prep as well. And so if you want to come out and help, we've got a couple of opportunities there. One is on a Saturday evening and the other one is on a Sunday afternoon. And again, all of these opportunities that you jump into, there's going to be people that provide instruction. And so we wanted to remove every barrier to serving. You can jump right in, even if you don't have any experience. Maybe you think, I've never done that before. Really, for this, it doesn't matter. It's about being involved and showing care for individuals. And then on the back of your brochure, we are also partnering with the Mustard Seed in their southeast location, whether or not you want to help in their shelter in terms of providing a meal. The other opportunity is to help in their sorting center. So they get a ton of donations come in, and it's really about putting things together. I love this one because I'm always thinking about my kids and going, well, how can they be involved in something like this? The sorting center is a great opportunity. They actually said what they'll do is they'll just hand the kids a bucket of toiletries and say, all right, you put the toothpaste in this bucket and the toothbrushes in those buckets, because they create these hampers. And so kids really, as young as 6, can be involved in these outreaches, and we would encourage families to do that. And then finally there, Ronald McDonald House, we're going to be serving a couple of meals over at the Ronald McDonald House and serving the meal. And for those of you that don't know what the Ronald McDonald House, that is a place where parents who have children that are getting care at the Alberta Children's Hospital, they're able to stay at the Ronald McDonald House, so they're not distant from their family who are staying in the Children's Hospital. And so we'll be able to provide a meal for these families where their kids are going through crisis. And so we're excited to be able to join with that one. And beyond that, if you guys notice a way to care, we want to encourage you to just spontaneously do it. We want to show love in every way, to be able to get out. And I always remember the classic, right, where the Boy Scout helps the senior across the road. It's all these little acts of care, holding a door open for somebody. I heard one earlier this week from my niece. She was working at a grocery store, and this guy gets all these groceries, goes through, and then realizes that they've forgotten their wallet at home. And they didn't know what to do, and they're trying to figure this out. And so the guy behind all of a sudden pipes up and said, well, how much is it? And they said, well, it's about $70. He says, don't worry about it. Add it to my bill. I'll pay for it. These are the little things that we can do to show care and compassion and love, to be an example to those around us, whether it's spontaneous or organized. We just want people to be involved, really to be engaged in one act of care as a team or as an individual throughout these next 2 months. What we're going to be doing as part of that is we want to encourage all of you 2 things. We have our shirts, and so when we go out to serve, we want to make sure that we're wearing our shirts to kind of show that we're a group together and we're doing this on purpose, right? That's what a campaign is about. It's about doing something on purpose. And so we're going to be wearing our shirts. But what we also want everybody to do is when you go out and you serve, take pictures, take videos, and send them to us. We have an email address that we've set up, 40days@rovc.ca, and we want you guys to submit those pictures, to submit those videos, because we want to show what we're doing. We're going to be engaging with the art wall, which is out here in our foyer, and we're going to be putting up our pictures up on that wall so that we can show the different ways that we have been showing care throughout this campaign. That wall is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger as we get more and more pictures up there. It's going to be really neat to just see how we've engaged our community and our city over the next 40 days. And so the email address is there at the bottom of your booklet there. And we're going to be having these booklets available throughout the 40 days. If you lose one, make sure you do that. Now, the one question that always comes up is, how do I sign up? How do I get involved? Well, there's two ways that we're going to be doing this. One is through our website. So when you go onto our website, the black banner that's usually at the top when we have different events. So if you're signing up for Women's Retreat, if you were signing up for Vision Day, there was a black banner at the top. You'll be able to click that. It'll take you right to the sign up form. To be able to sign up for one of these different options, and then we will forward that to the appropriate person and they'll get in touch with you. The other way to be involved is we're going to be setting up a 40 Days of Care booth over in the glass block area over here on this side. That'll be up next Sunday, so you have about a week to figure this out, and then we want you guys to sign up. We're going to have a volunteer there, and you'll be able to sign up there with them. The brochures will be there. If you have any questions, that will be the place to go. So if a guest comes to you and says, what's this 40 Days of Care about? That's the place you want to make sure you take them to, is to our 40 Days of Care booth. And our people that'll be at that table will be able to explain all of what you've heard this morning to them. Of course, they won't take 2 hours to do it. They'll do it quickly and concisely, but we want to make sure that everybody is on the same page in regards to this. So the art wall, the email address, the campaigns, the MPK 180 Young Adults, I think it's just amazing to see how we're going to be doing this. Now, there is one more thing. I love how Apple, they just had their announcement this week. They always have that thing right at the end where they go, one more thing. And I love the fact that we're going to be doing one more thing. Pastor Dave outlined that this needs to go beyond 40 days, right? 41st day hits and we're done. No, that's not what we're doing. This is about changing a culture. It's about doing this on purpose. And so one of the things that we want to do is to appreciate all of you. So we have completely revamped, at least that's the plan, is to completely revamp our volunteer appreciation. We have in the past done this on a Sunday morning, and we wanted to make it extra special. I mean, what does Dustin say? Super good, right? We want to make sure that you guys are appreciated. So I want to add one more thing to your guys' calendar. It's not on there for Tuesday, March 3rd. Tuesday, March 3rd at 7 p.m., we are going to have a volunteer appreciation night. We're still working out the details, but we want to make sure you guys get that into your calendar. Tuesday, March 3rd, we're going to be inviting you out to a special evening. And we're going to be doing some really neat things there to show how much we care for you guys. Because as Pastor Dave said, this church, this family couldn't happen without you. I just got back from vacation and I mentioned that it's just, I miss this place. I just love this family. It's so great. And that volunteer appreciation is going to be happening here at the church. And yes. Yes, March 3rd. So you know what that means? Nobody should have any excuse, right? Planning 6 months out. Nobody should have something booked on that evening except that volunteer appreciation. Yes. So the reason we want to do a volunteer appreciation is explain why it's so far. Why so it's far away? Well, a couple of things. One, to try and do it in the next 40 days when we want you guys to invest in the community is difficult. We also know this time of year, I mean, we're already planning Christmas, right? And so we want to make sure that everybody has that opportunity. And so we're going to put it in the spring. Again, 6 months out, nobody should have an excuse, but we also want to make sure that we do it right. We want to make sure that we really acknowledge you guys properly. We don't want to do this haphazardly. We want to honor you guys because you guys really are amazing. And it's just so fun to be part of this family, part of this team. And so we're excited for that. Now, I do want to open it up just for a couple of minutes for Q&A. If anybody has any questions about the how we're going to do this next 40 days.